Hello everyone, today I'll be talking about Affinity or XP. I'll use these two terms interchangeably throughout the video, and before you skip the intro, let me tell you something. If I get a single comment with a question that I already answered in the video, let's just say I'll do something and it's not going to be pretty. Alright, so this is how the video will be. First, I'm going to tell you some important basic information that you must understand before going further in the video. And then I'll go into details about a few forums that you should know about. Affinity sharing. Ever seen this icon next to people's name? This means they are in Affinity Share range. As the name suggests, as long as your allies are in Affinity Share range, Affinity will be 100% shared. However, if you're on the receiving end of the Affinity Share, the Affinity spread is different. If you get a kill with your primary weapon, 50% goes to your primary, the rest to your Warframe, even if your Warframe or primary are already maxed. On the other hand, if someone else gets a kill in 50-meter range, then 25% for your Warframe and 75% spread among weapons. So if you have 3 weapons, it will be 25% each, and if you have 1 weapon, it will be 75% for that 1 weapon. Levels effect on XP. Depending on what level enemies you're fighting, you'll get different amounts of XP. For example, if a level 1 gives 10 XP, then a level 20, 16, a 40, 19, a 100, 24, while 1000 gives you 55. Here's the graph, so it certainly does increase but not by much. Between 6 level 40s and 1 level 5000, the level 40s amount to more XP. So the count of enemies you're killing is far more important than their level. But as long as you can one-shot enemies with a leveling weapon, higher level is better. Factions effect on XP. At a given level, if Infested gives you an average of 130 XP per kill, then Corpus gives you about 190, Corrupted at about 200, and Grenier at about 250. So you can see why we always want to fight Grenier and we mod our weapons for Grenier most of the times. Stealth bonuses. Every time you kill an unalerted enemy in one hit, you'll get a stealth multiplier which multiplies the XP you get from your subsequent kills. It maxes out at 500%, which is an incredible amount of XP per kill. If you kill a level 40 with max bonus, you get as much XP as you would get killing a level 5400. However, if you get hit, you will lose the bonus. And if your weapon is not silenced, any enemy that hears it will no longer be unalerted and you can't keep up the bonus. So you gotta silence it with mods. How much does it take to max? To get a weapon to level 30, you will need a total of 450,000 XP. But you always get a 1.25 times bonus if you finish the mission. So you'll need 200k base to get a weapon to level 30 from 0. And for a Warframe or Companion, you'll need a 400k base to max it. Saturn Helene. The go-to farming spot for the majority of the game. The undisputed king of farming XP overall for 2 reasons. You can get 315k base XP in 15 waves, which assuming you equipped only 1 weapon is enough to max it out. And the other reason is, Saturn drops plastids and orokin cells, which if you don't farm them passively by doing Helene are going to be a massive pain to farm. Many people think Hydron is better than Helene, but that is the biggest misconception in Warframe. While Hydron does give a measly 7% more total XP, that is pretty insignificant and doesn't change the wave count required at all. So 7% more XP for practically getting no-go loot is a bad deal, especially when there are alternatives with far more XP if you don't want any resources. A few extra points about Helene. Spawns are based on how many players are present. With 1 player, you're looking at 24k in the first 5 waves, 2 makes it 48k, and with a full team, you're looking at 73k. So it is a very significant difference. Be mindful of your affinity range. The map is bigger than your base affinity range, so refrain from going anywhere past 25 meters away from the defense spot. So everyone will be always in 50-meter range of each other. If you saw your allies getting scattered, position yourself exactly in the middle of them so you get a lot of XP even if they don't. Titan at Saturn. If you're a solo player and want to level a damage dealing Warframe, an AoE weapon or a melee early game, This is a prime location to do that. It's practically on par with Helene without needing teammates, since player count doesn't affect anything here. Do make sure you're on solo or invite only, because if someone else joins, they're going to scatter the spawns and are very unlikely to stick around you, so you'll lose a lot of XP. Sanctuary Onslaught. If you have a Warframe and weapons to level, this is a very lucrative XP farm. Some say because this can be infested or corpus, it isn't better than just Helene, but that's not true. And the reason for that is spawn rate. I did some extensive testing and to me it looks like regardless of faction, you always get roughly the same amount of XP per zone. Probably because spawns are fine-tuned to balance the difference of XP between factions. And if you get yourself a teammate nuking the map, at the best case scenario you can max a weapon in like 3 zones, which is just under 8 minutes. Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. It would be the best place to farm XP if it didn't restrict you to a maxed Warframe, but sadly that is the case. So the 30% increase in total XP is not worth it over SO, because you'll lose anywhere between 35 to 43% of the total XP to your Warframe depending on how many kills you get. The more kills you get, the higher that percentage is. But if you don't have a Warframe to level, then this is a pretty good option. But still, we have better. But for the low amount of effort that this takes, it indeed is a good option, especially because of how many people are nuking this one for focus. But in reality, this is not the best place to farm focus if you have some good gear. If you don't know what focus is, don't look it up. Spoilers. Stealth farm. I like to do this one in Adaro Sedna. It might not be very well known, and that is pretty shocking given how this is the fastest way to level weapons, and it also happens to be the fastest way to focus farm as well. There are quite a few frames that can do this, but by far the best option is Octavia with an Equinox helmet on her 2 set to night mode. What you do is, you apply a build roughly like this. Put your focus school on Naramon to get the extra melee XP, and then stay invisible and put enemies to sleep. Then use your silenced weapons to kill them for that juicy 500% extra affinity. The skill cap with this is pretty high, but it is well worth it. With just a 4 to 6 minute run, depending on how good you are, you can get yourself around 180 to 220,000 weapon XP. So you're looking at a total of around 400k if you count the focus you can get with your frame too, which is simply impossible to get anywhere else. And all of that being solo eliminates the need for a team or coordination completely. A couple of things to keep in mind though. If your weapon is automatic and has low damage per shot, doing this can be very hard. To remedy that, you can use Magus Lockdown in combination with Sleep. This way, even if you can't one-shot, you won't lose your stealth multiplier. If you don't have Helmet or an Octavia, a few other frames can do it too, like Equinox, Ivara or Baruch, and their combination with the helmet. But in my opinion, Ivara is too slow and Equinox and Baruch cannot go invisible. To recap, new player, go Helene. Solo new player, go Titan Saturn. Wanna level a lot of gear at once? Go SL. Wanna level weapons only? Go ESL. Got good gear and wanna farm focus and level weapons at once? Stealth Adaro. And that's it for the video. You know how I had too many projects at once and then I kinda got burnt out? What I'm trying to say is, I started another project. Oh my god. Ever since the last vid I've been learning Python, and gotta admit it's a really fun and interesting thing to do. I haven't done something like this in a long time. It's a very unique experience and I have a little something cooking. Those in my Discord already know what that is, link in the description, and hopefully I'll show it to you guys soon. So I'll see you guys then. Bye bye.